fucking lush, man. So yeah, we are here with my good friend Zulu from how we know each other from tattooing and then through all sorts of shit.
How are you, man?
Boscombe family. Yeah. So maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself, like just when you came over from Africa, maybe like. Well, when did you come over from Africa? How old were you? From Zimbabwe.
South Africa.
South Africa.
KwaZulu-Natal.
Okay.
Just outside Durban.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. There's so many of you dudes from Africa down in Boscombe. It's just like,
yeah. A bit of a community. I suppose it's the closest thing to the coastal towns back home. You know, Bournemouth has got that bit of a feel to it. You know, but,
Durban poison.
Yeah, I was from the Bluff, man. So
what do you mean by the Bluff?
It's like a peninsular land that kind of stretched out into the sea, kind of sheltered Durban, like the main city from most of the storms. Like, so wave was a bit gnarlier there, like reef break, and town's a bit of a beach break in it. Yeah, man. Yeah, so it was just grew up surfing big waves, crayfishing, spending most of the time on the beach and that, you know. Ripping loads of nsangu, loads of ganj.
Nsangu.
Yeah. Zulu word for ganj. You know?
That's a dope name for ganj, isn't it?
Yeah. Bema nsangu, ne? Smoke weed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Came over. Trying to think of the year, man. Yeah, well, been here a while now, man. Must have been about 2003 or something like that.
What, when you came over?
When I first came, yeah, something like that. I lived in London, Leytonstone. Did some work out there, like security work, security stuff, and then just saved up a load of cash and went back and kind of spent a lot of it just surfing about and traveling around and whatever. You know, the money goes a lot further back in South Africa. It was like 22 rand to the pound at the time or something like that.
And is rand equivalent to like what a pound would be here? Not in like when you obviously you're getting a lot more, but is rand, say like a can of Coke, is that like 2 rand or a rand? Do you know what I mean? Like a pound here for a can of Coke. Obviously, it's 20 rand there, but would it be?
I think like a box of tabs or cigarettes or whatever. Just as a unit of measure, using tabs. I think it was about quid, maybe £1.50 for a box of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put that in terms of what you.
So 20 rand.
Yeah, something like that. I remember when it was less than that before, you know. Just come over, and then my certificates for things that I could do, like welding and stuff like that, they weren't worth crap, like over here. So I went to Dundee College in Scotland, did a duty BS 4872, the British standard welding.
So what? So they did. What, it just didn't mean anything? Did they like to take a different kind of shine to you, or like look at you differently because you already knew how to do it, or was it just easier to get through the course?
Well, I found it was easier for me to get through the course, but like for me to come over and just work through the agencies, like it wasn't the up to what they were saying was a British standard. So I suppose, you know, kind of got the duty laugh and off you go, son. So sort it out. So So did that for a while and was in Scotland and just had everything squared, man, you know, like had the sort of new family starting and things, and, you know, nice place right out near the Glens, you know, almost like the white picket fence idea, you know. Man, I used to have dreams about being in the commandos. I couldn't say it was the Marine Commandos, the Royal Marine Commandos at the time, because I was from South Africa, you know, when I was having these things. But things kind of became more clear when I was up in Scotland, because I was near 4-5 Commando Condor, where I was living. So it was in my face a lot. So, things kind of manifested the way they should have, I suppose.
Yeah. Was it like always something like from back in Africa that you'd thought of doing?
Yeah,
It's always kind of been, because I remember we talked about it before. Like, and I remember you saying that, like, you saw like there's a lot of wrong in the world, and like a good way of like helping would be to like go and actually fucking.
Well, like, I suppose it was like, you see, in South Africa, it's like, it's very church orientated in a lot of communities there, you know. So, family members were involved with a church and things like that, and it was just never my thing, you know.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I made my connections in a different way, you know, and I couldn't see it as a big enough difference, you know, like maybe going off on a street corner or something like that, trying to change a few people's minds or something. But, you know, to put the round, you know, through the bloke is going to take out a few more folk or whatever, that to me is a difference, and that in itself is a sacrifice, because when you do something like that, you give up a lot of yourself, you know. So that to me was more of a fair trade.
Well, and you also put yourself up for the ultimate sacrifice,
Yes,
which is essentially losing your own life.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's like more than one sacrifice.
It seemed more real to me. I suppose it's just what you feel within yourself. You know. I was always one of those sprogs with his mum's, you know, kitchen knives duct taped to his pellet guns, running around the bush, you know, cutting holes in the army base fence, and, you know, getting caught stealing practice grenades, and getting big hidings, and so I think it was always not if, but when, you know. But when you look at something, it's always things look like a mountain, don't they? But once you've done them, they kind of look back, and it's like a natural progression of things, you know.
100%, man.
So
it's mad that you moved to Scotland then, or whatever, and then environmentally you're around it, because it was just around you.
Yeah. Well,
that's
I mean,
a natural
it was
progression in itself, isn't it? Even if you didn't control it.
Yeah. Well, it just seemed like something was kind of steering us
to that way. Yeah.
So, but then training started at Livingston Commando.
And when was that then? So if you came back in 2003,
2007 I joined.
2007.
Yeah, 3rd of March 2007. I joined training.
Doesn't even seem like long ago when I think about 2000. It's like I was like 17.
It seems like yesterday, but
so
it's
it
not,
seems
man.
like it. Yeah, it's crazy to think that, like 2007.
I was 23.
Yeah,
man. So I was fortunate enough to be an original in the troop, and then pass through. It was a couple of weeks out of training. I joined 40 Commando in Taunton, Somerset.
Okay.
And then went to Afghanistan, Herrick 7.
So how long was that in training?
Training, when we were training, 9 months, 32 weeks.
Is that it? 9 months training?
Yeah, it's a lot longer than... it's the longest training in the British Armed Forces.
Really?
The selection process to get in. Yeah.
Then once you get in, do you go for another stage of training, or is it just
Well,
like...
I mean, I mean, you specialise, you do like continuation training, whatever field you specialise in, you know. Some lads stay general duties for a while, you know, like enjoy being a bootneck. Others, you know, like move on and they do other specs. You've got a lot of different specializations, like within the corps, because they're like self-sufficient in it. Like, so, but primarily everyone's a commando first, so you are out on the front line with the lads all the time, no matter what job you're doing, really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like some lads that do like what seem to be pretty crappy jobs on camp. Once you're deployed, life is very different.
You're all in it together once you're deployed.
Yeah, man. The Herrick 7 was a winter tour. I did that.
Must have been fucking cold over there in the winter.
I think it was like -17 or something. I think that was like the coldest. I think so. It was really cold, and it's just like I'd never seen snow in the desert, man. It seemed like bizarre. Like it was like, so we were in like Sangin, Helmand, Sangin Valley. So you got like desert all around you, and then this mad green valley.
Is it just in the valley? Like the valley, just a dip into green, and around is just fucking barren.
Yeah, but it's good few miles wide and a good few miles long, man. It's pretty, as far as I can see, there's just ganja and poppies and whatever growing there. There's a big long vein of it through the country. Yeah, man. Like grass grows 11 feet high in some places. Like it's like green, really green down in there. Because I was in like the patrol bases, so you go from the bigger, larger camps right down to the small, little ones that are on the front line permanently. So you've acquired a premises or whatever, and then fortified it, and you operate from that within the in the shit zone.
The shit zone.
Oh, yeah, I say that, but I mean, like, some of the most beautiful skies I ever saw at night, like I saw in Afghanistan,
I can imagine, man, seeing like the sky in a place where there's like a valley in the middle of fucking the desert must be nuts, man.
Yeah, it's just like negative atmospherics. It's just nothing, bro. So you pucker, see like Milky Way. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks like a beautiful country, man. Like that part of the world looks like a
Yeah,
beautiful place.
See, I mean, it was right up until like it is, but I mean, like the 70s, like it was people were still going there and doing the route to India. The whole hippie route to India, through the Hindu Kush.
What, and it was like almost like a safe passage back then.
Yeah, because it was a moderate place then. Yeah. You could go there on a duty holiday or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can't really do that now.
No.
But yeah, man, it's just one of those places that
it's always been a place of contention, right? Like that part of the world, like it's always been.
Yeah.
Like you were saying previous about Sangin being like was it the Sangin Valley that like
Valley of Death.
Yeah.
So translate, it's back to like Alexander, like like Afghanistan has always been covered with warfare.
What is it? What do you reckon the reason is for? Is it to do with like the ley line or the
oil and poppies?
But there's that. But before that, even like religion, like it's all like it comes from the East, the Middle East. Like that part of the world is such like a integral part to like.
I suppose it's
everyone's history. Do you know what I mean? Like every religion and like where everyone's comes
omnipresence.
Yeah.
Omnipresence. It's being everywhere at all times. Like if you have control over certain areas, certain smaller areas, then you have control over much larger regions.
Because of control routes. I mean, trade routes and things like that, or
everything. Just even strategically where it is. But there's a lot of factors there. Like, I mean, it's something that's would take, I imagine, a hell of a long time to sort out. If that, if it ever does. But I mean, there's so much other things going on there aside from everyone else getting involved. The folk there got their own tribal issues. So it's been covered with warfare for, millennia, this place, so I think people will see opportunity in a constant state of change, because change brings opportunity, doesn't it? So you look at all these things happening, like you don't have to be like mega like clued up on all of that to like kind of see what's is what it is.
Yeah.
But,
So, was that your first tour then, that one?
yeah, that was first tour.
Yeah.
We got a lot of IED strikes, it was like a dirty war, man, like just not too much kinetic stuff, where you're, like firefights and things, dealing with shoot and scoot tactics in the winter. And then you have like my second tour was a summer tour, and that was like you experience the spring offensive, the winter you tend to deal with like out of area fighters that get paid to scrap with or whatever, and then like summertime comes and then everyone comes out of hibernation, wanting to have a dig, so
On top, innit?
goes a bit loud, like. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more kinetic in the summer tour. It was a lot more busy for me, that tour. I found the first one was very much in my head a lot, working stuff out. I was a duty sprog Marine anyway, man.
What does that mean? Like
just the new recruit, man. So you get put on. You just got to pick up the shit jobs, man. There's lads there that have been there years, that are experienced war fighters, and you're there to learn from them, man. Yeah. So, some dudes, wherever you go, some dudes will take the piss or whatever, but they normally get sorted out by the other lads around them, because everyone's good, like primarily, like positively charged in there. You know what I mean? Like, lads, there's no room for bullying or any of that bullshit there. But it's just a bit of sprog routine, man. You make the wets, get the teas on and whatnot, burn the shitters when that was a thing. You got like some mad
burn the toilet now. Burn the
shit. You seen Jarhead?
No.
Yeah,
stirring that used to be a thing, but like
I can't remember what they did in that. What they burned the shitters.
Yeah, they chuck a load of diesel on it, didn't it? Like, and then like kerosene is like an accelerant to light the diesel, and then you're on shit stir, isn't it? So you stir the shitters till it's all gone, mate. And then you put them back in. Dude. But then they brought out these mad, I don't know, some crazy solar bag that like does all that for you. So
technology.
I was grateful. The second tour, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not a sprog anymore. Yeah, man. It was busy. The second tour.
Was the second tour when you started to get into tattooing, or was that?
Well, I was like, I did my first like tattoo design for a lad out while we were in Afghan, and I was just drawing a duty sketch map, front, middle, like rear ground, just trying to put a bit of depth in this image, and just like Sanger stuff, and he's like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. Can you draw me a tattoo design, because I want to get it done when I get back to to the UK, because he was having a sprog and with his missus and everything, and they were taking things further, so he was keen to get this thing done. So I did this angel, pulling the hands apart and creating like a star, and that was like the first design. I didn't tattoo it, but I'd give it to him, and he got it done. But that was the start of it, and then it's just strange, I suppose, how things manifest when you focus on them. you know, your attention on them, like, and you think about it below the surface all the time, you know. Yeah, things tend.
Itself,
it does. It comes your way, I think. Yeah, man. And then you, it's left to you not to like, don't mess it up, man. Do you know, like square that admin away rapid, like, and just get it done if that's what you want to do. Because after them Herrick's, like, it was time for me to go, man. You know,
The second one.
Yeah. A few of my mates taking their own lives, you know. So, like, I was in quite a while after that. I did like juniors and left after that, but like a command course. And then I left after that. Yeah, man, it was just time to go, dude. Like, a few good mates of mine, like, you know, for whatever reasons, you know, they thought, you know, that was the best decision for them at the time, you know, like, I can't agree with it myself, you know, like, there's always an option, like, you know, I suppose, but, you know, things were mega tough over there, like, so, like,
it's hard to even imagine, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
memories, they don't age the way we do.
No.
So, you know, people age, but their memories don't until, I suppose, you get to a point and then you lose all your shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, but,
no, it's mad. I never thought about that. Your memories don't age. That's a really good point.
So,
Like, you progress past your memories, but they stay there, isn't it?
yeah, it's that old thing of just being, like, brought back to that same stuff and learn new shit, you know, like, you know, that spiral effect of time, I suppose. But yeah, man, I seen I was either gonna go all the way with it, where I was going, because while I was in the Marines, it was exactly what I wanted to do at the time. I was happy as a pig in shit, mate. Like Jen, it was some of the most amazing times of my life in the All Marines, and I've got brothers there that are ones that have passed and ones that are still, you know, that I'll always carry with me in my heart, you know. But it's you evolve, and then you I mean, I got into tattooing, you know, but it was one of those things that kind of needed to be done just for my own consciousness, you know, to get to that point. And then, like, I suppose being in that creative mindset now with the tattoos and that, you revisit things differently from a different creative but desensitized point of view, you know. So a lot of the stuff that I'm very grateful for that, you know, because a lot of the lads didn't have that, and I see where I've ended up, you know, and they've been less fortunate, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm grateful for that, man. But that's kind of why I left, man. I was just once something happens like that, man, I had like bros that I was with first tour, you know, like second tour, you go beyond that, you know, like, and then they make the wrong choices, you know. So you got to kind of not allow these things to define you, and live for the ones who can't anymore, you know. Yeah. Other than that, you know, that was my reason for going, man. I saw the
Probably
frame.
finding that creative energy within that as well from the first tattattoo.
Yeah, because you see the framework differently when you look back at that whole structure. You know, because don't get me wrong, I love the Marines with all of my heart, you know, but like the whole mechanism behind it, I'm not interested in that nonsense. But the idea of like the archetype, you know, the idea, the belief in being elite, being a commando. I mean, it's something, you know, if you will understand, you know, because I've had folk like try and tear me apart, you know, for being the person who I was, you know, and everything I've ever done, I've acted with honor in my heart, man. Yeah. And I don't for a second doubt it, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like it's a growth period, bro. Yeah. So like, you know, the hard things that happen, you've got to find the good people, you know, around you that'll like kind of steer you in the right way. Because the wrong ones
out of it, I suppose, as well. Like, just try and find the best things and rock with that and go with that.
Yeah, man.
And like, I think especially with something creative like tattooing, to be able to have something like that, and like you say, like something gets presented to you, like you feel grateful for it, but at the same time you took it and you, like we were saying, you've got to go with it.
Yeah, man.
And I think that like always helps with finding the silver lining in something like that, like darkness, creativity.
Yeah, totally, man.
The light, and
the energy comes through.
Gives you a different.
Steer you out of it.
Yeah. It's that whole idea of like the shining darkness, isn't it? Like, you know, because it's only defined by what it is, like a box in a bit of space. You know, the space is defined by the box, by what's in it. Or the box is defined by the space around it. Otherwise, they're not those things, are they? You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of them. Yeah, man. Like the tattoo thing now, I'm mega grateful. I'm in a position now where I can I can do a bit more, you know, because I'm at the core now, but like Omar, man, like once a Royal Marine, always a Royal Marine, you know, like, so like I was, you know, 6 years there, had family and tattooing there, and then it was just time to move on, man, and do my own thing.
What, like, can I ask, like, why was it tattooing? Like, why do you reckon it was, like, specifically that? Was it because he suggested that one thing, that he was like, I want to get a tattoo of that, or?
No, I think it's like, because I got my first tattoo when I was like 16, man, like, and in Africa, and I remember getting in like loads of shit for it, man.
What, if your fam, like?
Yeah, like fucking. But it was worth it, man. I paid for it myself. It was a lot of money at the time, especially in Africa, man. I owned it, and it was something I wanted to do. And it was, it's in my mind at the time. It was something that I needed as a point, a reference point to move forward from. And I said, right, I'll always.
How'd you say that, man?
Yeah, I'll always like use that as a start point where I start becoming aware of myself, and I start putting things on my body as like little like milestones in my life. You know?
It's crazy that you say that, because that is exactly like, I was 16, 17, I think, when I got that. And that was exactly what that was. It was like I needed to put something on my body, let go on my arm, to like be able to go to the next level, to like literally like see the let go on my arm, what it stands for, like just being able to let go and all the rest
that's
of
why
it.
I love tattoos, man. It's the whole mental alchemy of like it's like doing a physical process to like achieve this like mental state that's like higher than where you are, or you know, like, you know, so like being able to do that for somebody else was real cool, man. And I was a bit of a geek with duty pulling bearings and stuff on a map, so like, you know, geometry and things like that, like, you know, I find it enjoyable because you know, I don't get that high tempo anymore in life, so you kind of gotta like search for it, you know, the way our bodies used to do with sugar, like, do you know what I mean, like way back in the day, like, you know, so, you know, that little stoke of like, ooh, like pull this line in a one and like don't fuck it up, Zulu, you know, like, like that's a stoke for me, man, like it's and then being able to do something that I find is like a puzzle and a challenge, and then putting that on someone's skin is like, it's like turbo welding, man, on a human being. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, but it's cool. Because for myself, you know, I tattooed myself shitloads, man. Like, and again, it's that whole like mental alchemy of like doing a physical process and then achieving that mental state, man. And it, like, you know, it looks cool and there's lots of like meanings and like hidden stuff in it as well, like, you know. So
especially with the geometry as well, like the
because they all like, you know, the angles and things, they're all like the information that's encoded in it, like it tells a story, you know, like, and if you
golden ratio, golden mean, that sort of stuff.
like 1 is 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3.
Fibonacci sequence.
Yeah. Golden ratio.
Golden ratio, golden mean.
So
It's in everything. It's in all nature, like literally.
yeah, man, because I like the idea of like, you know, being able to see that like raw geometry and like everything.
You do on acid and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
DMT, dude. Like, that's for
Acid
sure,
as well.
like,
How much
Yeah, man.
you do get there, man.
yeah.
It like opens that part of your brain, or whether I don't know. Does it open that part of your brain you can't use? Or is it enhanced? I don't know. But whatever it is, you do get to
DMT,
see
some
It's wild shit.
you get to see
some
the
gnarly
levels,
things,
man.
man. Like, I've had a couple experiences with that. Like, it's been definitely not something I do in a hurry again. But like, again, you definitely like you feel better afterwards because you like purge a lot of shit. So I think doing DMT helped me a lot process a lot of shit that's gone down, you know, like, and it's just ganja. You know, you can revisit things in a desensitized perspective, so you can use it as a tool. You know, like you can abuse anything. So you know, you could abuse ganja, you can abuse anything. You know, so I mean, using things to try and get the best out of it, you know, is I think acceptable. You know what I mean? When I see like, you know, like the other.
I don't take drugs anymore, but the only reason I would take drugs now would be mushrooms or DMT or something like that.
Yeah,
because
for the reason.
Yeah. See myself, I don't do drugs or anything like that. Like fucking.
I smoke weed.
Sniffing and shit, man. But
Yeah,
like, I smoke ganj. I don't really drink. I might have a bit of rum now and again because I'm a fucking pirate. But
We should have done Milo together.
bit of pork, I suppose. But like, you know, I'm not into that other shit. Like, I like shrooms. You know, like DMT.
Reason,
you know, but again, that was like a point that like kind of catapulted myself forward in my understanding of things, like for myself anyway, my own journey. I mean, everyone's doing their own thing, bro, you know. So but yeah, it's I've got I suppose as far as I got with that to how far down that rabbit hole I went, that geometry became really relevant to me because of the things that I'd been dealing with, like, you know, and then trying to like sort of let that trickle down into like your other aspects of life, like just kind of put another log on a fire, man. I just went further down the rabbit hole with it all, like, so like the whole idea, like the hermetic stuff really interests me, like, you know.
Hermetic. What do you mean by hermetic?
Like it's like the hermetic stuff, like Hermes, like it's like before Egypt, like ancient
Okay,
Egypt. Yeah, man. So it's there's like 7 laws, fundamentals or principles to the universe, and it's, I think it's the best explanation for, like, because if you use these things to try and like understand, the way I get it is you understand the natural world around you to become the best version of yourself. You know, so, and these things are tools there for you to use to try and understand, you know, the world around you without any creed or religion or bollocks like that, like attached to it, like, so yeah, man. So like, I suppose you, once you've understood a bit more of it, then it makes a bit more sense.
Yeah,
like, you know, like I suppose like I'll explain like some of the laws like you've got like this like the law of mentalism, like the universe is mental. You know, the law of vibration.
Law of attraction and stuff like that, isn't it?
It's not one of those, but it is like that
way.
is a principle.
Yeah.
You know, this is just sort of like one school of thought on it. Like that makes sense. Polarity, like love and hate being two opposites of the same thing. You know, like a battery has a positive and negative. You know, but it's still the same battery. Like, you know, just stuff like that.
It's interesting.
That's basics of the universe, isn't it?
Yeah, because like, it's easy to break that down in like a natural sense, and then we run on electricity. We're like essentially like a fucking battery, and then like you've got your negatives and your positive charge.
And then like your gender, you know, your law of gender, like your masculine and your feminine, and you know, like it's really interesting stuff. I find anyway, where I am with myself, it helps me understand myself better and the space around me better, you know, like so.
Level,
yeah, because it's just really about being mindful, you know.
Absolutely,
you know, I suppose in time things will change again, and there might be some new, you know, mad school of thought or whatever that might interest us, you know. But like, it seems to fit, man, because you know, as much as people might find like a lot of comfort in religion and things like this, I think knowledge is a lot better for people, you know, like
100%, without a doubt. Like I find, and a lot of religion squashes knowledge as well. Like, or only teaches the knowledge of the religion. I find religion, like in this day, it's quite hard to get my head around. Like I understand, like it's a good thing for morals, and if it brings people together. But as soon as like you want to hurt people, or like try and make other people believe that way, then it's like,
it's a lock straight away, because as soon as you have a belief, then you stop learning, isn't it? Because that's your belief. You don't learn past it. You're not gonna. It stops, isn't it?
But like people who apply it to only like the religion, but they still go out and they're professors and they do this and that. It's always fanatical in either end of the spectrum, and you can get people that are any type of
I've never understood that. How can like those clever folk like that, like who like do those mad things, like how can they like then suddenly walk into the room and turn the light off, and all of a sudden they don't question things, because like, you know,
I find it puzzling, man.
Yeah, I think it's bizarre, man. It's like is it some sort of like evolutionary thing or what? Like, you know, like where, you know, the people like want so badly to believe in this thing. I mean,
I'm not fear. I reckon like a big part of it's fear. Yeah. Because like you don't want to think that it's just all over when the fucking lights go out. You know what I mean? You want to be like, nah, there's something else there. And like I get that, but like it still doesn't break it down for me why people like hate other people because of it. Like I've never got it. I've just never understood that with religion. And it's still like, we're still fucking, people are still fighting nowadays, like more than ever, you know? Well, probably not more than ever, but it's nuts, man.
It's always been over religion, isn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is you could also argue that science is a religion, and that we're fucking, like, if people are like, well, you should just believe in science, but it's like, science is backed by like sacred geometry, by math. By something that you can, it's tangible, you can see it, you can feel it, you can fucking go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 5, and another 5 make 10. Like, it's not like I've got an imaginary friend in the sky that I'm willing to fucking kill people over. Like when you actually, but I have nothing against religion. I don't want to say that but I have a problem with like the shit that comes with like fanatical religion.
That's all it.
You know what I mean? Like
man.
Every type. Like it's like. That's why Buddhism makes the most sense to me, man. Because
I think religion just makes you a good person, and that's it.
That is sick,
that's cool as fuck. Like, or if you,
but there was like, wasn't there like, there was a book written about it, wasn't there? There was that because everyone like says that, don't they? And I even think like, you know, like,
I just went on a basic level. It's just
there was I can't remember his name. He wrote the book. the life and teachings of Jesus of Nazareth. Like, so what he did is he rewrote the Bible and took all like the miracles and like claims to like divinity and all that stuff, and just like, he's a good dude teaching some good shit, and this is some good morals of how to live. Like, you know, so someone actually did that. Like, so that's not an argument anymore to me. Like, to me anyway. Like, you know, like how like people say it's it teaches good morals. Like, so the people who do say that, you know, like, I know that it does teach good morals, but you can learn good morals in another way. You don't need to kind of.
Yeah, like you
most
should.
of the morals you learn from the Bible or whatever, you should have them anyway. But
Well, the whole idea of faith is blind submission, isn't it? Like, you know, I see. I'm not down with that, man. Like, I mean, I think like there's just that's keeping the knowledge like to a select few, like a select few in the clergy or whatever. Like, only they're allowed to know because they've gone through some rigorous, again, you know, sequence of initiations or whatever. Like, you know, like bollocks, mate. Like, you know, like fucking, you know, like, I think, like, I know that there's life after death, but I don't think there's anything like in the way that we think about the idea of God now or whatever. Like, you know, like I've seen dudes cry for God and whatever and pray, and he didn't come, man. Like, I mean, you know, like, so it's just one of those things. But then again, I suppose when you think of that in another perspective, like if God is the teacher or whatever, you know, during the test, surely the teacher's always silent. You know, so you never get that bounce back, you know, like because that's the point.
That's mad. I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know. I think
it's an interesting way of putting it. Like in a test, the teacher's always silent.
Yeah,
that's a good way of like that's a good argument for fucking.
You know, like, I just, like, because I know, like, you know, like, energy can't be destroyed or whatever, like, you know, it only changes state. So, you know, if everything, like the law of vibration, you know, if everything's vibrating and, like, eventually to a higher frequency, you know, they will become like us or whatever, you know, like, you know, like, I heard this, it was in, I think I was listening to about that Hermetics, about how they did an experiment with this, it was a theoretical experiment where they take this lump of metal and they start spinning it at faster speeds and higher frequency. Eventually it starts to get hot, like it would, you know, you'd imagine friction, and then like colour, the thing turns every fucking colour of the rainbow until you can't see or smell it, or, you know, like anymore, like or hear it. Sorry, there's a non-smell because it's moved past our range of understanding, but that is still evolving higher to a higher frequency. So, like a crystal, like, is that like that consciousness at its like beginning, isn't it? Like, you know, because it's that matter, that raw matter, that's like vibrated through however fucking long or whatever it took to eventually get to this fucking state, which is the lowest form of consciousness. It's like your, you know, the crystal's conscious to an extent. Yeah. So theoretically, if that kept vibrating and continuing on a higher track to a higher frequency, that would become fully conscious. It's like the lump of metal in that fucking experiment. Like. Yeah. So everything is evolving forward, like. So that tells me that whatever this is, you know, we're moving forward to the next thing. So I think it's just trying to understand like the trip as you go. You know what I mean? Like, cause that whole thing of trying to like follow some way or some thing like, oh, I got to do this or whatever, like, because this is how you have to do it, otherwise I'm not accepted. Like, fuck all that, man. Like, just like being is that, isn't it? Like, you know, like, because if that's what we are, is like focus points of attention from something bigger, you know, then just being is like the trip.
Yeah. Is a fucking trip. Living is a pretty it's a pretty good thing.
So I don't know, man. I just think, like, you know, with the whole art vibe or whatever, it's just good because it gives us a space to be creative and kind of move forward with myself, you know, because doing the tattoos, man, like, you fucking meet all sorts of folk, bro. You know, like from all walks of life, you know. And,
especially down in Bosco.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
How's the new spot?
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. I'm like, I've made it like fully wheelchair accessible. So just, I did it like, you know, just with my bros and the Marines who've taken like IED strikes and stuff. I did it with them in mind, but like, I don't know, I put up a Facebook post a little while ago about it. It's kind of there for anyone who needs it, man. You know, it goes without saying.
Is it a front? Is it like front window, like the other one, like the spot you were in before, or is it like a?
There is a big window to it. I mean, it's a nice little nice little place. It's got a really good vibe in it. It was some mad vocal yoga place or whatever before, so there was already a good vibe. Excuse me, when I first went in there, like, you know. But just needed a good lick of, you know, just new floors, lights, and then got a disabled door, and then full turning space for the, you know, like the entrance and that, so they can come in with a wheelchair, and got a electric tattoo bed or Molnir Thor's hammer.
Sick.
So that thing just goes right down. You do a duty transfer from the chair to the bed, lift him up, tattoo the shit out of him, and then stick him back in the tank, man, in the chair. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Got like one, two more things to do, man. Like, and then I'll be stoked with it. Like,
I look forward to coming down, man. Fucking hell, like, sounds like you've like fully gone in. Yeah,
hoping. Well, you should just make it work. Just don't have another option in it. Like, so yeah, man. So I want to expand eventually, like, but we'll see how we go. I like the idea of being in my own space now.
Yeah, it's nice to have your own space, man. It gets fucking on top, like sharing them. I can imagine, like, it's a vibe down there, but
the old place was nuts, man.
It's pretty nuts. Like, even just being there, like, a couple of weekends, bruv. Honestly, like, it's just shit going on all the fucking time. I came down like a couple of times, like, stayed for like a weekend or whatever, like, and it's always a good vibe. Like, everyone's like in the shops, nice and friendly. Do you know what I mean? It's like family vibe, like, but what goes on around the shop and the shit that's just constantly happening in this tiny little fucking space, like. It's like East Street times 10.
Yeah, it's like a little anomaly, isn't it? Like that place, like.
It's wild, man.
Who's the hip hop crew from?
Hip hop, Boogaloo. Backyard Boogaloo, innit?
No. Old school hip hop crew, they're breakers and that.
Oh, right.
Second to none, innit? That's Bournemouth crew.
Second to none.
Yeah, second to none, breakers. Yeah, they're all from Bournemouth. They bought out like 2 records as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know them lads, man. Like, I mean, like, again, I was a Marine, man. You know what I mean? So I was in them mad circles, and then got into the tattoo crowd and that, and then, you know, so you meet folk through the tattoo shop. I didn't really follow them lads down in Bournemouth. But.
Yeah. Fucking, I was just about to say, did you listen to music like fucking out there much? Like, was it like a fucking
Oh yeah, well, I mean, like you had like in the camps and shit, like you had your tunes and that, you know.
People
like,
come out and do like shows and shit, right? Did that happen much whilst you were out there? Because I hear
not
about
on
like
the front line, no.
Not on the front line.
No. They go to like fucking,
come and do it like fucking comedy show on the front line.
Bastion or like fucking Kandahar, you know, like some like Bastion most of the time. Like, you know, you can get a fucking frappuccino there and a pizza, bruv. Like, you know, it's not. No, it's not. No, they're. I mean, it's like a different realm, like from where we were. I took a bit of time getting used to that place, like getting out of like Sangin, like coming back and being in Bastion with all that madness. I wasn't a very good camp marine, bro.
Not get on with people.
Yeah, just opinionated about a few things, man, and just after what we've been doing, a lot of the stuff that was being made out to be important became very trivial to me in my own mind, you know, and then the things that were important, they became our core values, you know. So I found, a lot of the time, didn't gel well in the sort of like non-operational sense of being a bootleg, you know. So I was just sticking myself on courses all the time, you know, just to
keep your head down.
Yeah. So I volunteered for my second tour. So the first one I went straight out, like.
What, after 9 months? Just straight into it?
Yeah, 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks, and then I went straight out. But I went to Wooten Bassett first, man. So like for 2 weeks before I actually got to the country, I was like doing the repatriation. So I was carrying the lads off the planes in the coffins who died in Afghan. So that was fucked. Yeah, that was gnarly to deal with.
Just before you went out as well.
Yeah. But I mean, it's an honourable thing to do, man. I'd do it again, like, no problem. It's just you can feel him in there, like, you know. So it was a lot to process before going out. The reality of the job became very real. So suddenly you realise the gravity, not quite like, you know, the crack and thud of a round coming over your head, like, you know, but things were starting to become very clear at that point, like, and you feel awful for the lads' families or whatever, like, you know, but is what it is. It's the job, you know. That was shit. We did a bit of acclimatisation in Bastion, but time on duty ranges or whatever, and then when heloed out to the FOBs, helicoptered out, you know, the Chinooks or whatever, and then home sweet home, bro. Ride the mighty moonworm, man. Woo, yeah, dude. But I was still like eating meat and whatever then, so it was like barbecues and whatever, goats and whatnot, like. But it was a good time, man. Good time. Loads of mad, crazy, fucking outrageous things, like, you know. Lads just to pass the time. No, not anymore. No.
Why was that?
Huh?
Why did you decide to do that?
I just didn't want to kill anything. I left the corps.
Suppose if you're not
animals are bros, man.
Yeah.
Leave them alone, dudes. Be nice to animals, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah. No, I just wonder because I've been torn between it recently.
No, dude, I went like turbo vegan, man, but like turbo with it, because when we were smoking DMT, it was the whole thing of like not doing onions and garlic and shit, like, because of how it affects you, because we were fasting and everything before we were doing these hits and that, man. So it was like a pucker, like trying to break through and everything.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's some like entity there like going, "Yeah, you are Zulu. Here's a mad geometric structure." And you're like, wow, I know exactly what that means, man. And you know,
that's the breakthrough.
Try and make it.
Not everyone gets the breakthrough.
Mate, I have that shit's fucking
I've never
wild.
had the breakthrough on that. I've never.
I felt like it was like there. It was like came like to here, like, and it's all like all around you, and like this shit that was your mate, and then it was just like and started fading. But I never.
See, but like, I also found I got my ass handed to me with that stuff too. Man.
Yeah.
Like, I do when I was doing it by myself, like, you know, and shit like that. And then.
Are you smoking the pure, like, or smoking changa?
Yeah, I was smoking pure. That's what done me. Like the changa, I found I was able to go there with a question and try and have some sort of communication or whatever, and you actually like remember things a bit more because you can, like get through the space better, you know.
That's I never smoked the pure DMT. I just hit the changa. But I had like a fucking righteous hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, man. Like
done
we were
properly.
Like, yeah, because we were doing like the Terence McKenna and all the mad like documentaries and shit, bro. Like, 3 hits, like gnarly, but a breakthrough, you know. Like so.
I love Terence, man. He's wicked.
Yeah, man. So, you know, couple bros were there, like coming out of the first hit, and your bros, they're like, "Yeah, you are, bro." And you're like, "Oh, fuck." And then I don't know, man. The page bends, and then you're dropped off somewhere else.
There's one thing I always remember about Terence is he's like, you can go there and get like the small ideas.
Yeah.
Like, how does my finger perfectly fit in my nose or whatever? There's like really big ideas that you can't always grasp.
Yeah.
But then the medium ideas, he's like, concentrate on the medium ideas until you can get to the bigger ones, isn't it? That's the way.
That is the way.
Yeah, I love Terence McKenna, man.
Yeah, cool, man.
I need to read more, man.
I'm
literally
it's
like
interesting stuff. Like, I've seen some of his brothers' things as well in the docs.
There's a few people like him in it. I do watch. You know Michael Zarian?
No.
I used to check out him as well. He does like the Celtic angle.
Okay.
Like the whole thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah. See, I like the whole. I was like into the whole Joe Rogan. You know, like, massively like, into that.
I didn't clock onto that shit until quite late. And then, but that's like seeing that and other podcasts was just like, all right, this seems to be like the way things are going. Do you know what I mean? And it's just an interesting way to fucking learn stuff. I've listened to a lot of those.
The thing is now we're on, 17?
Yeah. They're on like fucking thousands, man.
But that's a lot now, but then the idea of yours was ages before that even again, isn't it?
Ages before.
Before we dropped this 17.
Oh, right, yeah, like 4 years ago or some shit. Yeah. Takes a long time to get things rolling, man. Do you know what I mean? Things take a fucking long time. Like everything, like we're saying, it's like you got to manifest that shit, but like not just manifest that. You then got to fucking put in all the work and do it and make it happen.
Manifesting it, that's what it is. It presents the way, like it presents you the way to do the work, innit?
Yeah.
And then you can either not do it or do it. That's the whole point, isn't
it? What is it? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. I don't know who said that, but it's nice. Wait. Smoke out. The cloud.
That's a proper one, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a proper one.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's cool, man. It's a smoke cloud, isn't it? If only the cameras were on.
Smoke it! That was my talk today, man. I've been listening, bro.
Huh? Nah, it's cool. It's just I'm gonna wake the baby up. I was just fucking. But yeah, no, it's interesting, man. That Zoot kind of licked me down, and I just got so drawn into the story. It's just like intense.
Yeah, sick. You got to forget the mum, man.
Yeah, it's super interesting, man. Like it's wild because it's like a connection through. It's all through hip hop again. You know what I mean? Because the way I met Rudy, who is Zulu's friend, who like I know him from like I say through hip hop. Dylan from UKHH came down to shoot a freestyle here with Split Profits, and Rudy just was like, yeah, I want to come along, and like from there we fucking made a friendship, like gone to London, gone to Bournemouth, and eventually like now like I know Zulu, know like the crew down there. So yeah, it's interesting, man. All through hip hop. He's done my whole arm so far. Like that's his arm, left arm's Zulu's, right arm's Rudy's. Yeah. It's sick, man.
I ain't got none, so I get my first tattoo tomorrow.
Yeah, get a face tat.
Get a face tat.
What are you gonna get? The
Nike.
big dagger. Nike on the side of your face, like your like face of a trackie.
No, obviously not.
Where?
Yeah, I don't know if I could get a face tat, man. I want to get my hands done though, like. I'd like to get my hands done.
When? This weekend?
Oh, I don't know. I gotta think about what I get on them. Man. It's like that's like
We've
a
got
fucking
iPad now, bro. We can do that shit.
Yeah, have you got the iPen as well?
Yeah.
Where like you press down and it's like
Yeah.
it goes thick. Bro. Honestly, I fucking love that shit, man.
Yeah.
we get
Procreate
hands on
software, man. It's good shit. Man.
Yeah, Procreate. That's it.
Yeah, man. It's cool. It works for me, man. It's how I do my tattoos, man. Loads of layers. So you kind of draw in layers with that thing. It's good bit of kit, man.
Yeah, I downloaded some like graph, like font or whatever, some like graph hand styles, like different cans.
Yeah.
You can select like a fucking New York fat cap or whatever, and it's just like
Cool
I
shit,
can literally
man.
sit there for hours and hours and hours, just like.
Yeah, I dig it, man. Good tool, like.
Yeah, it's instant as well. That's the best thing about it. You want to make a design or like a poster or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You can just do it. It's vectored, straight, done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
What
within
you use Split
seconds.
so far?
Yeah, that and that poster there and
one,
shit. Yeah, it's good, man. It's not break the bank as well, like for what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why I fucking love technology nowadays, man. As much as it's kind of taken over and it's a bit fucked up in certain ways, it's like a double-edged sword. But things like that, where you can just like create a design like that,
exactly.
send it to your phone, post it to like
it's easy.
the world. It's like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
That's the dope thing.
You're pretty lucky.
That's taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's loads of people that do that shit like whack. So you might as well.
Well, it's just fun, like.
If the technology's there to take advantage of, as long as you're on point, like then you can use it.
Yeah,
'cause you
but
can
even
do
if you're
shit
not, you
real
can
time,
learn.
man.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You
Like
have to be on point. Like as long as you're on point, then you can manipulate it and just use it for the better. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than,
Yeah, it's a like.
I dig that because it makes like the whole process like more organic and like because then it's like the two of you there. It's not just like the like generic fucking like pay your deposit and I'll go and do your design and this is it. Like you're there together, fucking designing it real time on the iPad.
Yeah.
And you're throwing stuff around. So the design that you end up with is completely different to what you know. So I like that factor you get to it, like the shit I do takes fucking ages to draw, man.
Yeah.
So that piece of kit just you can do a week's drawing in an afternoon.
You might be able to teach me a few things on it, actually, man. I'm sure you like how to do a circle and shit like that.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like it's got like a like almost a set, like you know what I'm saying, like.
I've never used it.
Well, like to say to draw it like on a piece of paper to draw a perfect circle is fucking hard. But like obviously this will correct it for you to like make it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I still haven't figured it out yet. Man. It's been too caught up in just doing hand styles.
Fat caps.
Yeah, no, it's bad, man. Yeah, so you tackling tomorrow then? Tackling Isaac tomorrow?
Yeah, well. You're not getting away from it, bruh. Like what? I didn't just come.
I'm ready, man. Yeah, 100%.
I've got a big bag of designs there. You can have a look in there. I'll get out the car. Like.
Yeah.
yeah. But I brought the iPad with too as well, so we can kind of combine a few things. But just on that triskelion we did on your elbow. So it's going to work back down to the forearm from that. Fill that space is what I was thinking.
Sick.
Roger.
Yeah.
You got some shade work to do in the asanola as well.
What, in this at the front? Yeah.
Like that
I'm
other
excited, man. I'm excited.
Like the other lad who recently come from Glasgow for his tap, man. Like I was just doing loads of pattern work with like fucking grey shades and stuff, you know, just to give it a bit more depth. So we'll do that to yours as well. Then we'll get on Isaac's, because I know he sent me a mad novel about his requests for his tattoo. I like caught him off guard at work or something, and then he had a moment to like fire back, and I was like, "Oh lad," like, but yeah, we'll get there. So I just thought I'd bring everything, and then we'll get it squared. So I'm doing a cool piece.
I've been looking forward to it for a while, man.
Yeah. There's another dude, Edward Grant. He has a podcast and thing, you know. He's alternative thinkers, you know, and they're rediscovering a lot of stuff with like Great Pyramids, so I've been trying to use a lot of the stuff, or just been inspired by a lot of the stuff that he's done, you know, like the Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. He's used that as an overlay for the Great Pyramids, and it's like projects like exactly where like the chambers are, like a king's chamber, a queen's chamber, all these hidden chambers, and all this information about the pyramids that is encoded within those images done by like Da Vinci, and like even the one on Shakespeare's sonnets, where like I think what's his name, Alan Green. He's a mathematician, dude. He like shows you how he decodes the front cover of Shakespeare's sonnets, and there's stuff that's in there that was like 100 years before even they were saying they even understood about some of the processes and angles found within that math on that front page. Mate, right down to like the longitude and latitude of the Great Pyramids of Giza's on that front page. It's really, really interesting stuff. Like, so that made a lot of sense to me. So like I started to think about like, right, well, like, you know, what is this whole thing? Is it like, you know, like the idea of like, I don't know, like Mickey D's or whatever, using that whole sacred geometry to make their like a physical sign outside, you know, like for the M or you know, like Audi or whatever. You know, they got the 3 Vesica Pisces in there, in their circles.
Golden ratio,
know?
though, isn't it?
Yeah. So they're using sacred geometry for that, like. So the idea, like, it struck me about that whole thing in the sense of like, you know, that Vitruvian Man being an overlay for the pyramids, exact, like. The math is like perfect, like, you know, like, so it's really, really interesting. And it was like, is this sort of a model, you know, like a geometric model for like the whole idea of, you know, understanding this, and then going through that process, becoming the best version of yourself, you know, that whole mental alchemy of doing things. It just seemed like really interesting, like, you know, his perspective on all that, and like how they're actually rediscovering shit. Like, it's like,
are they starting to like prove that then? Are these like?
Oh, he's like, there's a thing on
they
there
already
now,
found,
man. He's
like,
he goes. There's like a whole load of them. They've gone down to Egypt to go and do their own measurements. So it's like, you know, that whole idea of until you measure something yourself, it's just someone else's words, isn't it? Like, you know, so. I suppose that's what they're doing. You know, like the mega interesting stuff, man. And like, I dig it because he draws geometry, draws sacred geometry. Like I used to sit there every Sunday, drawing geometry was like my little thing, you know. And you feel like when you draw it, you almost feel like you needs to be drawn, you know, like until it's finished, like, you know. But it's just understanding those shapes and the information that's encoded within that structure, that whatever you're drawing, like, you know, like just giving you that clear perspective on what you're doing then in that moment, you know. Sometimes it kind of resonates through the rest of everything. That's kind of why I like drawing it, you know? But yeah, man, so this dude does that as well, and then he's actually off there like proving his theories in real time, you know. It's like that alternative archaeology, not the mainstream bollocks, like, you know. So, a mate of mine as well, a while ago we went to go and see Graham Hancock in
is it?
Yeah, in London. Yeah, ages ago.
He's just written a new book, hasn't he? America Before or some shit.
Yeah.
About sorry, carry on with
yeah, man, and well, we just we went up there for his one of his like few hours long mad PowerPoint exhibition that he put on, you know. It was all Atlantis and the Mayans, and you know his thought processes on it, and a lot of it made bloody sense to me, like, you know what I mean, like, you know. So those kinds of people, like those kind of alternative thinking people that are like, you know, mega outside the box, you know, like they I find folk like that a lot more influential to myself, and you know, like the standard archetype heroes or whatever, like that you're kind of fed to believe in or think that this is what you should aspire to be, you know. But yeah, man, that stuff's interesting. So
different perspectives, man, rather than the normal narrative.
Yeah, it's kind of pushed my tattooing forward because you know it's things have become a lot more complex. Like I'll try and do like a flower or something, like, you know, like something for somebody else would be like mega easy, and I'll just like sit there like a fucking prawn, man. I'll be like, I can't do this fucking flower, but then just sit there and I'll like puzzle out this, you know, intricate like a vector equilibrium, like the geometry of space-time, and three Kabbalistic trees put together, and then like the three-dimensional projection that's made in the middle. It's your vector equilibrium, like, you know. That's how I understand it, you know. Like that whole Trinity thing. But like that's cool as fuck, you know. Like I can't do that easy. Flower, it'll take me ages, but I just send them to someone else who's better at it than me.
Maybe it's because it's like so much a part of you, isn't it? Like down to like, because it's such a natural code in everything. That it's like almost projecting just the fucking, like when you go so deep into something, like whether it's like you have like the experiences you've had, and then the like say with DMT, like going far with that, you know what I mean, then you come out the other side and like creating something just comes so naturally from you that it actually almost is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What makes you up, like the fucking the code of you, like.
Yeah, because you see that's strange, I suppose, you know, but I always used to see my pa on like the drawing boards or whatever, because he was like a design draftsman, so he like started off doing apprenticeship with Rolls-Royce aeroplane engines, and then designing them, then went off to Africa and loads of mad shit there, and met my mum. Didn't come back for a good 40 years or whatever, like 30 years or whatever, you know, 40 years. And then,
so he designed engines?
Yeah, he did his apprenticeship with Rolls-Royce. But yeah, then he was doing like buildings, bridges, stuff like that. Like, you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, loads of mad shit like that. So it was always kind of geometry, or you know, that was always around. understanding it yourself is like different, you know.
Sacred geometry as well, isn't it? That's what it leads in.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how there's those things that are like planted in your, you know, in your early life or whatever. That kind of nowhere in your control, but they kind of steer you to where you are now. You know, almost like a wave.
Yeah. Well, it's such a like influential part of your life. Like that's one thing. Like having like my son now is like I sometimes think to myself, I'm like, fuck, like all these times, even though it's like you can't remember being a baby, and I think being a baby is like a trip. I reckon they are fucking tripping from the moment, like you, to a certain extent, it's like everything is new. When you trip, it's something new you haven't seen before. Usually we're just living like now, day to day, you've grown up, like you're conditioned to what you see around you. When you see something else, you're like, what the fuck? So for a baby, especially when they're like a newborn, like, that must be a trip. You must be tripping. You must be tripping until you start like your first memories. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's like when, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So it's
Yeah. Well, I see like mirrors in my kids, man. They're angels, man. Amazing two souls, Adam and yeah, man. You see like reflections of yourself, like echoes, man. And blows my mind every time, like, so, you know what I mean? Every time I see him, like, it's change it for the world, like, you know, but they teach you a lot about yourself too. Yeah. Just that whole mirror effect, like, you know, and I mean, all you ever want is a focus for your kids to be, you know, happy and, you know, possibly in a better place than you were, you know, like, you know, you want them to succeed in whatever they do.
be a better version of yourself, essentially, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, like you give them as much as you can, and then they take what they feels best from around them, and then
steer them off in certain directions.
But not too hard, because then you push them in that direction and shit. Like it's all a mad balance, man. It's gonna be fun, like.
And, and you see the things they do, man. It's like mad references of yourself, and you see the same shit you used to do, man. You're like, bro. They're trying to get one over, and you're like, mate. So now I totally, like, everyone, I suppose everyone said, man, I totally get it, like, you know, the whole I've been where you are, laddie, I know what you've done, boy. So yeah, I get that, like, you know, I finally understand that. Yeah. Because I look at him and I go, you.
You ain't got an idea, man.
I love them tidbits.
Yeah. Unconditional, it's a crazy thing. It's like a cliche that people say that like you won't know what it's like until you have kids, and it's like the best thing ever and shit. And you're like, yeah, right, like I'm sure. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But then it happens, and you're like, oh shit. Like, with some realness you're talking.
Like we've been doing like loads of mad bushcraft skills and stuff. You know, just with that whole, you know, the Amazon and Oz being on fire. You know, like recently, like. I was getting like 10,000 questions, man, about all this, you know, because you're looking at in the Sprog's eyes when they're seeing stuff like that, you know, you want to be able to do something for the stuff that's happening, but also, you know, for your own kids, so you get that like helplessness feeling, isn't it? Like you can't like fix the situation, I suppose. As a bloke, you want to fix stuff, don't you? Like, this is broken. That's how I fix it. You know, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so like, right, Roger, we're off to the bush. We're gonna go and do some fire skills. You know what I mean? So I was just teaching them like safe fire drills, how to make fire with nothing. dry fires, wet fires. Scotland's full of soft wood anyway, like, so it's like how to find the best wood, you know, all that shit. Learning the terrain and then just cruising about in the glens, man. It's great with them, like seeing them grow, like.
I think that's one of the best things you can do for kids as well, man, is take them out of the city. If you
Yeah,
can,
man.
like, and take them into the countryside, man. That's one thing I'm grateful to my mum and dad for doing when I was a kid. Is they took me out, like, when they could, and, like, we went and fucking did that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Made bonfires, learned how to fucking
That's it,
make
man.
little bows and arrows and shit, learn how to shoot bow and arrow and that.
Yeah,
like,
it's important, I think.
Yeah, I think it is, man, because it's your human nature. Like, at the end of the day, we're fucking, like, we've built up this society around us where we live in, like, concrete, and we've paved everything, and like, we've cut ourselves off so far from nature that, like, that kind of stuff doesn't even fucking, like, for most kids that won't ever happen. Like, most kids that is not something that's gonna happen.
Seems
I'm fucking
mega
fortunate
alien
as
to
fuck
them,
to
innit?
have it.
Most kids know, though, the worst thing is that even kids that grow up where there's still those areas about where they can go to the woods, they're still stuck in on PlayStation.
That's, but that's the thing is, like, you know, with that whole thing as well, like, you gotta like be able to navigate the times, like, you know, like, so, like, it's about, like, just, you know, how, like, you know, play your duty game, because they're all on the comms anyway, aren't they? Like, all gobbing off to each other and cracking on and doing a thing, innit? Like, you know, like they are more advanced in a lot of ways than we were when we were sprogs. But then
100%,
everything has its pro and con, you know, everything has a double edge, you know. So
It's balance again, man.
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's fucking balance again. Like, it's like, cool, you should, like, you're gonna grow up in a society where that is what you have to do. You do have to know your way around a computer. You got to learn how to code and shit. Like, for these kids nowadays, you got to know that shit. But, like, to be able to have that opportunity to go out and learn how to make a fire.
Oh, mate, when Adam's face, man, when he lit the fire with nothing, like, and you just go in with a flint and a bit of mag. Say again?
I wouldn't change it for the world, you know what I mean?
Oh, mate, cool.
I grew up, in the woods, like, but I had a bit of both, innit? There was council flats and all sorts of that stuff. But also, we were, like, next to the woods as well.
Yeah.
So, it was like fields and woods.
Yeah, you know,
Build dens.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, and I feel for some dudes, man, like, so some kids as well, man, I suppose, because, like, you know, when my sprogs were down in Bournemouth and that, like, you know, where they were staying, man, I was getting calls from one of my crackheads on the, you know, like, on the trampoline. The dudes are spiking up on the trampoline. There's, like, needles and stuff being left in the garden. Now, man, like, you know, like, whatever keeps a brother warm at night, bro, you know, you do your thing, man. I ain't gonna judge no one for nothing, because those are in whatever situation because of a reason. But don't come leave them needles in my sprog's garden, man, like, where they're playing and things, like, because now you're taking away my kids' rights to have a clean and safe place to play. So I found myself getting into shit, like, cause, you know, you go and remove the guys, like, late at night, and then getting into shit. So the kids moved up to Scotland, so I do the commute once a month, twice a month, sometimes once every 2 months, but then it's like a much longer stay, you know, like, just depends on however the terrain is, you know what I mean, with, you know, life. You know what I mean? Like,
Life terrain.
Yeah, dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so you just fucking adapt and get around it, bro. But, like, I've done that drive, Bournemouth to Scotland, man, like, many times, bro. But I'll happily continue doing it, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I miss them when I'm away from them very much, with all my heart. But that's why I'm making this thing here, down here in Bournemouth, man. And so everyone needs their stories, man. When you're like an old man, or when, you know, you need your tales, man. But you also need a castle or a home to tell them in. You know what I mean? Like, so you got to square that admin away too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, so, you know, kings need castles.
Yeah.
So you got to make that shit happen. Like.
Yeah. Shit, man.
All right.
Well, it's been a fucking good chat, man.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh yeah.
It's been a real good chat.
Yeah, it's been me and Sangu. Smoke some Zol now, bro. I've been laying off like
Mate, I had that one
Don't
Zulu
get
and I was
too
just
stoned
like,
and fuck up, Zulu. Like shit, man.
man,
Do you know
it's
what
been. I just got so sucked in, man. I was just like hit the
zoot,
zoot, and I was just like, just like absorbed, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Real interesting. Like obviously we talk, but we don't. Like I said, we don't get like. It'll be on the fucking bed and like we'll be chopping it up or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's like you're talking, but it's not like you're sat down.
Yeah, and when I'm doing that, man, like sometimes when you're talking about some of the stuff we're talking about relevant to the geometry, so it's pretty deep stuff, and then you're like, you're tackling and the dude will swing round and answer you, and you're like, fucking the line will go skew, and all right, we're power lining that now. Yeah.
It's been sick though. It's good to meet you. Even like it's mad to meet people just sometimes. Meeting them on.
Yeah, this is good thing you guys got going. Yeah, man. It's like thank you for fucking making me a part of it.
It's a pleasure, man. Yeah. I'm real grateful for the opportunity to hear the stories, man. It's fucking it's good.
Yeah, you won't be thanking me tomorrow when your toes are curling on the bed there. We're doing that hand tattoo, man. You can't plant a seed like that and then not do it.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I gotta think about that shit, man. That's something I gotta really think about.
Fuck it, let's go to Glastonbury and buy an axe instead, like. Crystals.
Yeah, sick. Alright.
Oh,
Let's wrap that up.